Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting. I am meteorologist Mr. G here with you on your Thursday afternoon as we're getting into the late afternoon hours right now. So many of you are probably finishing up your school or work days in just a little while here. So you're going to be on your way home. So I'm going to let you know what to expect as far as the weather is concerned this afternoon and into the nighttime hours tonight. We're going to also take a look at your day tomorrow and the weekend and get you prepared for the upcoming Christmas holiday. I'm going to let you know what to expect as far as those travel conditions will be across the country. And we have some active areas in the weather department today as we're going to be looking at the potential for a developing storm that's going to affect the eastern half of the U.S. from the Gulf Coast up to New England. And we're going to see some wintry weather across parts of the southern plains and the eastern Rockies as well. And we're going to see that heavy rain down along the Gulf Coast that could spark some thunderstorms and some flooding. And we're going to see heavy rain and gusty winds, almost tropical storm-like conditions through parts of Florida as well. So let's move on with the rest of that forecast as we take a quick look at the city of El Paso out in West Texas that is enjoying a beautiful afternoon today. Crystal clear skies and temperatures in the 60s to near 70 degrees right now. So enjoy the remainder of your afternoon today as we talk about what we're going to be seeing across the rest of the 48 right now. Okay, so we do have that forecast for the rest of the country right now, and we're going to be talking about that wet weather we're going to be seeing across Texas and along the Gulf Coast, as well as the wintry precipitation across the southern plains as well, and we're going to be seeing that big storm making its way up the East Coast. So let's move into our first map as we talk about that big storm that's going to be moving up the East Coast. So we're going to see that area of low pressure right here over the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be moving across the state of Florida and up through the mid-Atlantic states and eventually up toward the northeast there. We're going to see that low pressure forecast to slide up the East Coast, and with it we're going to see widespread rain, gusty winds, and snow over the interior portions of the East Coast as well. And we're also going to see some of the major airports could experience some delays and cancellations as a result of that stormy weather as we move through the forecast period. And then here's a look as that storm makes its way up the eastern seaboard, and there is that snow over the interior portions and the heavy rain along the coast up into New England. So another wet weekend potentially there for the East Coast and into your day on Monday. So Sunday and Monday in particular, we're going to see that storm make its way up the eastern seaboard, and it's going to be bringing that heavy rainfall and that heavy snow over the mountains, the Cascade, the Sierra, not the Sierra, that's on the west coast, the Appalachian mountain ranges and the the mountains in upstate New York. My brain is shut off. I'm having a brain freeze right now. But the mountains over New England and the Appalachian mountain range, we're going to see the heavy snow start to fall as we head through the weekend. So I want to think about now as I'm racking my brain to remember the name of the mountains that's in upstate New York. That is the Catskills, and we also have the Adirondack. There we go, the Adirondack mountain range. My brain is just just out there right now. So as we talk about it, take another look at that storm system as it's going to bring with it some very heavy winds as well. We're going to see winds up to 60 miles an hour along the coastal sections there as this storm makes its way from the south up the east coast there up towards northeast New England and eventually up into the North Atlantic as it continues its track toward the northeast. And we're going to be seeing that heavy rain along the coast as well as through Florida, the Gulf Coast. We're going to be seeing it over the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, so where we can see that potential there for 3 to 5 inches of rain, widespread areas of 2 to 3 inches, but a bit further inland, we're going to be seeing 1 to 2 inches along the mountain ranges here, and 1 inch here across the deep south and parts of the lower Mississippi River Valley. So we're going to be looking at heavy rainfall amounts across the entire south, the southeast, and the mid-Atlantic and the northeast as well as we head from Saturday through Tuesday. We're going to be looking at those heavy rainfall amounts there along the coast. We do have a flash flood threat across the eastern U.S., particularly right here in the mid-Atlantic states. So the Carolinas, parts of Virginia, we're going to be seeing that situation where we see the likelihood of some flash flooding problems as well. So again, here is that storm as it comes up off the state of from the Gulf of Mexico there across the state of Florida, dragging that cold front with it, and it's going to be bringing those winds and heavy rain. So as that front, that storm system crosses Florida, we're going to see those winds coming in from the east around the area flow pressure. So that's going to be making for some gusty winds and very heavy rain, very tropical storm-like conditions across the state of Florida and up the eastern seaboard. So we're also going to have a slight risk for severe weather, or at least a marginal risk for some severe weather. That could also mean some tornadoes as well across the state of Florida, from north central Florida down to southern Florida to Miami and Homestead, where we can see that potential there for the severe weather and tornadoes and damaging winds and hail as well with some of that heavy rain. So again, predominantly we're going to be looking at about 2 to 3 inches of rain through Sunday across the state of Florida. Down here in southeast Florida, near Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and the Palm Beaches, we could be looking at 3 to 5 inches of rain. So lots of rain across parts of Florida as well. So a very wet weekend is in store through Sunday across the state of Florida. So again, that heavy rain across the state, where we're going to be seeing flash flooding likely across the state of Florida. So again, prepare for that as you make your weekend plans. We do have a flood watch in effect across the eastern coast of Florida. So Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Homestead, we have a flood watch in place, and that's going to remain in place through the weekend. So and even though this says through Thursday, that's going to remain in place probably through the entire weekend while we're dealing with that storm system as it crosses the state of Florida. So we do have a coastal flood warning, and that's going to be because of those heavy winds. We're going to see a strong wind coming off the east there, and we're going to be seeing coastal flood, coastal erosion, with the damage to the beach, so large breaking waves up to 13 feet and flooding of lots, parks, and roads and different things like that. Conditions are favorable for coastal flooding. We can also see rip currents and beach erosion. So you're going to see a lot of small craft advisories along the Florida coast there. So if you have a boat in a marina, you may have some concerns by taking those things out, as those waters are going to be quite choppy out there along the Florida coastline here with that storm system making its way to the north. So again, not a good situation across the state of Florida. Much like dealing with a tropical storm, here's a look at the winds that we're going to expect across the state of Florida through your Saturday, through the weekend here. And check out these winds. Going to get up to 30 to 40 miles an hour for the most part here across the east coast of Florida. On the Atlantic side, we're going to see those winds hit those 30 to 40 mile per hour range as we get through the end of the weekend. We're going to also see those winds hit that 40 mile an hour range over there near the Tampa. We're going to see that up there in Panama City, Jacksonville, Melbourne, West Palm Beach, and Miami. So a very stormy weekend is in the forecast for you folks down across the state of Florida. We're going to see lots of rain, flooding, and damage caused by those very strong winds that could lead to some power outages. We could also see the potential for flight delays and travel delays on the roadways or any other mode of traffic. So if you're going on a cruise from Port Canaveral or Miami or Fort Lauderdale, there's going to definitely be delays with your cruise this weekend if you're going to be taking it this weekend. So please monitor the traffic, the weather forecast, because the seas are going to be kind of choppy out there, so that's not going to be the most comfortable feeling while you're on board your ship there or doing whatever you got to be doing. And we're going to also be looking at those wind alerts. So we have wind advisories right now along the east coast of Florida, where we're going to see those gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Again, like I said, tropical storm conditions across the state of Florida. Even though we do not have an organized tropical storm. And my video picture is blurry there. My face is all blurry. I'm all blurry on the screen. So again, let's move on over to Texas, where we're going to be seeing some more rain falling, which is going to be basically where we have another area of low pressure across the western half of the U.S., the south central U.S., down here across Texas. We're going to see snow over the eastern plains of Colorado, New Mexico, through parts of Kansas, western Oklahoma. So it's going to be cold enough for snow in those regions, but we're going to see a lot of rain and some thunderstorms over north central Texas, east Texas, and south Texas as well. And that is going to go through Friday. We're going to be seeing those. So dry until we get to Thursday and Friday. As you can see right there, Friday, you can see those rain showers for Houston, that rain in San Antonio on Friday, that rain in Dallas on Friday, and we're going to see cloudy skies through west central Texas there. So again, we're going to be seeing that that stormy weather developing across the state of Texas. Okay, so that stormy weather is going to move out of Texas and then slide along the Gulf Coast, as we're going to be dealing with that same storm system that's going to bring all that stormy weather to Florida and eventually the East Coast. Also is going to bring some stormy weather along the Gulf Coast. So Houston, Beaumont, Lafayette, New Orleans down there, Alexandria, Shreveport, Louisiana. We're going to all be dealing with the potential for some heavy rain on your Saturday and some thunderstorms as well. But we're going to be seeing the potential for flooding down here across southern Louisiana. So we can definitely see the bayou seeing some flooding and some of those levees getting overrun by floodwaters down here across southern Louisiana and the southern Mississippi River Delta. So if you live down in those areas, button down the hatches and get ready for that flooding. So primarily across the state of Texas and the deep south, we're going to be looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain for the most part. So north central Texas and southern Oklahoma, east Texas here east of Dallas, near Lufkin, Houston, over into Louisiana, around Shreveport, and down across the Gulf, southeastern New Orleans down there in Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, South Georgia, and into Florida, where we're going to be seeing those higher rainfall amounts, 2 to 3 inches for the most part. But over Texas, we're going to be looking at mainly 1 to 2 inches or less. So still a lot of rain, some drought relief for the most part across the state of Texas and the south again, but we're going to be dealing with a little bit of flooding as well. Here is our flash flood threat across Texas for today and tomorrow. So west central Texas here, we have a marginal risk for flooding today and tomorrow. And we're going to see that marginal risk for flooding across east Texas again for your Friday and Saturday as our storm travels east and into Louisiana as well. We have marginal risk for flash flooding in those regions. We also have to talk about some snow. We have some wintry weather that's going to be part of this equation as well, and that wintry weather is going to be over Colorado, New Mexico, North Texas, western Oklahoma, and east western Kansas. So we're going to be seeing a winter weather advisory. In the winter weather advisory zones, that means we are going to be seeing less than 5 inches of snow. But if you see the blue, that's our winter storm warning. That is a mean we're going to see over 6 inches of snow. So here across northern New Mexico is going to be the main focus for the heavier snow, where we can see almost as high as a foot in some locations there. So through Friday, we're going to be looking at that wintry weather along I-40, I-25, and I-70 through Colorado. We're going to be looking at that wintry precipitation over those regions. Again, here is a look at your snowfall totals that we can expect from New Mexico, Colorado in particular, where we could see 3 to 5 inches and as much as 5 to 8 inches in some locations. But we do see some isolated spots of 8 to 12 inches right in here, and we're going to see that 8 to 12 inches right in this region here. So near Tiles and north of Santa Fe, we're going to be looking at those higher snowfall amounts through mainly New Mexico and southern Colorado. So again, a little bit of wintry weather across that region. So that is a look at your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. Leave your likes, comments, and concerns, and I will direct you to customer service. But we're going to have another video for you guys tomorrow as we get ready for through the weekend and kind of fine-tune the forecast with the timing of the storm on the East Coast and the wet weather across Florida and this wintry precipitation across the southern plains and the wet weather across Texas and the south as we head through the next coming days. So thank you for watching me. You can subscribe to the channel right here on YouTube, and you can follow me on TikTok. Bye-bye.